Life is not always smooth. We face heartbreak, loss, financial struggles, and days when everything feels heavy. But in those very moments, Allah gives us a powerful choice: to sink into despair or to rise with faith. Mufti Menk reminds us that happiness is not about a life without problems. It's about learning how to smile through them, how to thank Allah even when things seem broken, and how to trust that every difficulty carries hidden ease. When we push ourselves to see blessings, even in the smallest details, we transform pain into strength and sadness into hope. In this reminder, we'll uncover how Islam teaches us to remain positive, patient, and grateful even in life's toughest storms. Because true happiness doesn't come from the world, it comes from your heart, connected to Allah. 1. Happiness is strength, not the absence of problems. Many people mistakenly believe happiness comes only when life is free of pain, stress, or disappointment. In reality, happiness is not about removing problems, but about how we choose to respond to them. Mufti Menk often emphasizes that happiness is a mindset, an inner strength that allows us to rise above challenges without being crushed by them. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, faced immense trials, the loss of loved ones, battles, and betrayal. Yet, he remained a source of comfort and hope for others. His happiness was rooted in his unshakable faith in Allah, not in the circumstances around him. This teaches us that true happiness is not external, but internal. When we train ourselves to see challenges as part of growth, we stop waiting for problems to disappear before we allow ourselves to feel joy. A happy person is not the one without problems, but the one who faces them with faith, patience, and determination. 2. Hardship is part of a believer's journey. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "Do people think that they will be left alone because they say, 'We believe and will not be tested'?" Surah Al-Ankabut 29:2. Hardship is not a sign that Allah has abandoned us. Rather, it is proof of His love and a way to strengthen our faith. Every believer will experience tests, whether through loss of wealth, health, or relationships. These trials refine us, just as fire purifies gold. Without challenges, we would remain weak and dependent on the comforts of life. But when we endure hardship, our reliance shifts from people to Allah. Mufti Menk often says that life is like an examination. If we expect constant ease, we misunderstand the very purpose of our existence. The companions of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also suffered hunger, persecution, and sacrifice. Yet they became the most honored generation because they endured with patience and trust. Instead of questioning, "Why me?" a believer should say, "Alhamdulillah, this is part of my journey toward Jannah." 3. Allah's promise: with difficulty comes ease. One of the most comforting verses in the Quran is, "Indeed, with hardship will be ease." Surah Ash-Shah 94:6. Notice that Allah did not say after hardship, but with hardship. This means that every struggle carries within it a door to relief. Sometimes we see it immediately, and sometimes we understand it only later. For example, a person may lose a job, but later find a better opportunity that not only sustains them financially, but also strengthens their iman. Another person may fall ill, and through that illness, discover the sweetness of dua and nearness to Allah. These hidden blessings remind us that Allah's promise is always true. Happiness, therefore, is not about waiting for ease to appear, but about recognizing the small signs of relief that Allah places even in the darkest times. When we trust His promise, despair has no place in our hearts. 4. Focus on small blessings daily. One of the greatest keys to happiness is gratitude. The Quran teaches, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor." Surah Ibrahim 14:7. Gratitude is not about waiting for big miracles. It is about noticing the small blessings that surround us every single day. Many people chase after wealth, status, or recognition, believing these will bring happiness. Yet Mufti Menk reminds us that joy often lies in the simplest things: the warmth of family, the ability to walk, the blessing of food, the sound of birds in the morning, or even the chance to say, Alhamdulillah. By shifting focus from what is missing to what is present, our hearts begin to overflow with contentment. Happiness becomes a habit when we count blessings instead of complaints. A believer who wakes up and says, Alhamdulillah for another day of life, is already living with more peace than someone who wakes up chasing what they do not have. 5. Trials build resilience and faith. Resilience is the ability to keep moving forward even when life knocks us down. Without trials, resilience cannot be built. Just as muscles grow stronger through strain, our faith grows stronger through hardship. Allah tells us in the Quran that He will test us with fear, hunger, and loss, but gives glad tidings to those who remain patient. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:155. When a person goes through difficulty and still says, Alhamdulillah, they are proving to themselves and to Allah that their faith is not shallow. Every time we endure hardship, our soul develops spiritual endurance. This is why the Prophet ﷺ said, "The greatest reward comes with the greatest trial." Tirmidhi, resilience also helps us inspire others. When someone sees a believer smiling despite challenges, it gives them hope that they too can overcome their struggles. Thus, every trial we endure is not only for our own growth, but can be a light for those around us. 6. Kindness, dua, and smiling spread. Light happiness is not selfish, it grows when shared. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Smiling in the face of your brother is charity." Tirmidhi. Something as simple as a smile can ease the burden of another person and bring joy to our own hearts. Similarly, acts of kindness, whether helping someone in need, giving charity, or speaking kind words, create ripples of happiness that return to us. Mufti Menk often advises that if you are feeling low, lift someone else up, because bringing joy to others invites Allah's mercy into your life. Dua is also a powerful source of light. When we raise our hands and speak to Allah, we release our pain and find comfort. Even if our dua is not answered immediately, the act of turning to Allah itself brings relief to the heart. Happiness grows when we stop isolating ourselves and instead spread light through small acts of kindness and sincere supplications. 7. True happiness lies in trusting Allah's plan. At the heart of every difficulty lies one essential truth: Allah's plan is always better than ours. We may not understand why certain things happen, but our limited vision cannot see the wisdom behind every event. True happiness is found in surrender, accepting that whatever Allah decrees is ultimately for our benefit, whether in this world or the hereafter. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Wondrous is the affair of the believer, for there is good for him in every matter." Muslim. If something pleasant happens, the believer is grateful, and that is good. If something difficult happens, the believer is patient, and that is also good. This mindset transforms life completely. Trusting Allah's plan removes the need to constantly question, compare, or despair. It allows the heart to rest in the knowledge that no matter what happens, Allah's wisdom and mercy are greater than our understanding. That trust itself is the essence of lasting happiness. No matter how heavy life feels, remember that Allah has placed strength within you to keep moving forward. Happiness is not the absence of trials, but the ability to stay patient, grateful, and hopeful in the midst of them. Trust Allah's plan and know that every hardship carries hidden wisdom and ease. If this reminder touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Pious Deen for more inspiring content. Let us all make this dua together. Ya Allah, grant us patience, peace, and true happiness in our hearts. Comment Ameen below to affirm this prayer.